Well, hi everyone. Happy afternoon. We moved from the final session of the day to the second to last session of the day. Really excited to be up here with you today, Megan, talking a little bit about branded partnerships. And so rather than introduce you, you're right here. I thought you could give the audience a little summary of who you are, your role at Mondelēz, and just for fun, your favorite guilty pleasure Mondelēz treat.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Meghan Swatt. I am the North American licensing lead for Outbound, both food and non-food, for all of our Mondelēz brands. So if you're not familiar with Mondelēz, our company has taken quite a journey. We were once Nabisco, we were once Kraft, and now Kraft many years ago decided to take their snacks business and separate it, and we became Mondelēz. So we represent a lot of iconic brands: Chips Ahoy, Oreo, Nutter Butter, Big Newtons, Triscuit, Ritz, Wheat Thins, Sour Patch, Swedish Fish, Toblerone, Halls. So really strange brands like Chicken and a Biscuit and Easy Cheese, which doesn't fit in our portfolio at all, but is very beloved out there. So we represent a lot of brands, and I've worked there for about 15 months in the licensing space, and we are bringing our brands to the market in new and exciting ways.
All right, now everybody's hungry after hearing that litany of delicious food. So did we get the aggressive hand raisers? They're Sour Patch Kids? Awesome. Okay, I'm getting some thumbs up. Problem solved.
I didn't answer my favorite Mondelēz snack. So I think it's very situationally dependent. So if you haven't had Sour Patch Kids with popcorn, it's an amazing add-on. If you don't buy it at the theater, you can slip it in your pocket and bring it in and pour it on top. It is amazing. I grew up with Chips Ahoy. We actually weren't an Oreo family. We were a blue bag Chips Ahoy family. But now my son is a red bag Chips Ahoy person. So we have a lot of, red bag is chewy, for those of you who don't know. Blue bag is crispy original. So there's a lot of debate about, are you a crispy or are you a chewy fan? So that's where we are at the moment.
Understood. And my direct answer to you when you asked me the same thing was Sour Patch Kids all day. So I'm jealous of everybody here.
Oh, you don't have to say.
But it's okay. I now have Sour Patch Kids socks thanks to Megan. So I'm feeling very, very well represented. And again, for those who I didn't meet this morning, Kelly Owens, I'm here with Ibotta, VP of Client Partnerships there, coming in from Denver. So excited to be back on the stage. So we are going to talk about branded partnerships and bringing brands to life in new categories. So this is great intersection, right, of all the conversations today about legacy brands, and taking risks, experimentation. So tell me a little bit, we're going to start with the why. So Mondelēz has this very strong brand portfolio. So when do you leverage branded partnerships and licensing as a part of your strategy to drive growth? Like, what are the benefits for Mondelēz?
Yep. So at its core, licensing is bringing together two consumer trusted brands to bring a mutually beneficial new item to the market. Earlier Lauren was talking about like the yin and yang, and that's exactly sort of what our partners are for us. I mean, they're the cream to our cookie, or in like literal sense, our partner Sargento is the cheese to our cracker. So we really believe like two powerhouses coming together could really make a difference in the brand new category. And when we think about kind of why we're doing it, sometimes it's to enter a new category which we just don't have the core competency for. It's not a cookie or a cracker or something we're comfortable with, but it's a space that we're interested in, so we approach a partner in that way. Sometimes it's a brand new audience. We're looking to be more relevant with Gen Z, so what are they doing in that space, especially in the non-food space. I think that's very important that we're trying to reach new areas in non-food. Sometimes it's just to stay relevant. If you look at Oreo and what they do with their limited editions, every year we do like 12 to 13 limited editions a year. Sometimes they're straight flavor plays, but sometimes they're with partners. And that has to do with constantly remaining relevant in the cultural conversation. So I think it just depends why we're doing it for different reasons for different brands. But it's always, I think, just to bring two new and exciting things together to keep people talking.
We heard today from Num Num and from Bayer with Midol about smaller initiatives within bigger organizations. Is this for Mondelēz like a niche play, or is this something that is viewed as a scalable revenue driver?
I think it's been growing over time. Mondelēz as a whole, it's very important for us to grow share of snacking. And so one of the ways to do that is through licensing. We still really consider ourselves building the foundation of this discipline. We're about a 4-year-old official team. Previous to that, it was really run by the finance department and through a lot of consultants and things like that. So, but I think that it came a point, and it became like growing every year. It was growing and growing, and somebody was like, hey, we should really build this out. And so I think that's exactly where we are now. We have a mighty team of 5, and we, as I said, we work with all the brands, food and non-food, inbound and outbound. So we manage a lot of different partners and a lot of different partnerships, and I think when Mondelēz saw the revenue that could come in, because we're not just licensing our brands out, in a lot of cases too, there's an ingredient purchase as well. So, in order to put one of our brand names on your packaging, if it's a food item, we do ask that you purchase one of our ingredients. So it's a dual revenue source for Mondelēz, and that becomes, quite powerful. So we, like every brand in our building, have a, financial goal to hit, and, we're asked every quarter why we don't hit it if we don't bring it in. So yes, I think it's a scalable proposition and something we're focusing on.
So you heard it here first. Finance can be your first round review of marketing metrics, your best friend, and they can also run your brand partnerships at some points in your life cycle. I love this. So you gave a few examples, like cheese to our cracker, of some types of licensing and partnerships that Mondelēz does. Do you have some examples? You call them, I think, inbound and outbound,
Yes.
Food and non-food.
I have a slide. I don't know if we can put it up, but if not, it's fine. So we do what we call inbound and outbound. So inbound means that Mondelēz is taking in another brand from another partner. So it could be an entertainment partner, it could be another food partner. Oreo and Chips Ahoy do most of that in our building, I would say. Just recently we announced an Oreo Coke collab, which just hit the market, and that was a new thing for us because we did it inbound and outbound. That was the first time we ever did both ways. So Coke produced, with their Coke creations, they produced a limited edition Oreo flavored Coke Zero, and we produced a Coke flavored Oreo, which actually has Coke syrup in the wafer of the cookie. So that was the first time, and we actually also did non-food merchandise with that as well. We're dropping a Forever 121 capsule any day now. We're waiting for it to drop. So that was exciting because we bridged food, non-food, inbound, outbound. So we sort of checked all the boxes there. That was the first time for us. And then outbound, we do a lot of outbound food licensing. And so we're at Danone, so I have to bring a show and tell. This is our Yo Crunch yogurt that we do with Danone. Please, they're in the freezer or the fridge in the back, so please everybody take one on your way out. So they've been a great partner for us, and when we think about, I'm sure we're gonna get to this question, but like why we do this, or we really make sure our brand partners can help live out the brand foundations through themselves as well. And Danone is a good example because one of the biggest Oreo brand pillars is to remain playful, and what's more playful than mixing little Oreos in your yogurt and a little joy in your day. So that really lives on for Oreo that way. Some of our other big partnerships are Frenary, our ice cream partner, and we work with the sports nutrition brand Ghost, and we have a few different products with them. We work with Sargento, as I said. They have a balance break line, and we have our Ritz and our Triscuit and our Wheat Thins with them in there. And then we just launched our baking mixes with General Mills, so that was a big launch for this year, and it was like one of the top baking launches in the past 5 years for the whole baking category. So we do have a lot of case studies that show like partnering with one of our brands can really elevate both brands. High tides raise both ships, whatever that saying is. So we do. There
are tides and there are ships. We got it. Yeah,
something like that. We believe in the power of our brands, and we know our partners see success with that.
And when I asked you when we were planning for this panel, like, what do you think the tone? What would you like it to be? You talked about the snacking category having this playful, fun, we don't take ourselves too seriously type of culture. seems to be coming through in the types of partnerships you're striking too, where that's a little bit about the fun and experimentation and not taking yourself too seriously.
Yeah, we definitely want to make sure the brand foundation, like I think everybody said it, right? Like, stay true to your brand. And we, being in licensing, that's sometimes difficult because we need to ask that of our partners too. We need to make sure our partners are staying true to our brands. So while we're always the brand steward, we have to release a little bit of trust in our partner to do that same thing.
So let's do the flip side of that. While you were talking about some of your partnerships, I was watching the facial reactions of some folks in here. And so I had one person go like, ooh, when you talked about Oreos with Coke, right? The Oreo flavored Coke. I had a fist pump for popcorn and Sour Patch Kids right over here. I had like a, like for the Sour Patch Kids put on top, right? Like there is benefit and there's risk to doing brand partnerships, right? And we talked yesterday about there's always the risk of the ew factor, the ill factor, right?
Yeah.
So how do you think about the challenges and the risks associated with brand licensing? How do you mitigate those, and how do you detect for the ew factor?
I think in some cases, if we're really nervous about the ew, like, not that we were nervous about Coke, we weren't, but that was a limited edition, right? We knew that was going to be in the market for 13 weeks, and so bad press is good press, you know, people would try it, and I think sometimes partnering with someone is all about getting someone to try it for the first time, and if the repeat isn't there, that's okay, because it's not meant to, that isn't meant for its purpose at that time. But, you know, one of the biggest risks I think we've taken recently in licensing is partnering with Ghost, as I mentioned. They're a sports nutrition company. It's a category a very conservative company like Mondelēz knows nothing about. It has, you know, energy drinks and claims associated with it and things that we just don't normally touch. So when that came into consideration, it was really, you know, it really had to go all the way up to the top. And is this something that we want to kind of dip our toe into? And it was a space that had no licensing at the time. I mean, if you think about the whey powder category, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, there was like vanilla, chocolate, maybe peanut butter. And the gentleman who started Ghost, they love the brands of Mondelēz, just like internally as you know, consumers. They came to Mondelēz and said, we love your brands, we want to liven up this category, and they wanted to do it with licensing. And now if you look at that category as a whole, like there's 1 million licensed brands in that category, and whey powders and energy drinks. So we really think that we kind of were like at the ground level of that, but we took a risk there because, and it's still a little risky. In full transparency, our legal team's always like, you know, there's energy drinks have quite a lot of potentially litigious nature to them. But again, like we trusted in our partner. We knew they were doing the right things. We asked a lot of questions. We have a strict no marketing to kids policy, and they uphold that as well. So we really, you know, found a partner that could have sort of shared our vision in that area.
Awesome. So I really want to win panel bingo. So we're going to talk about AI. And I promised you we were going to play a little lightning round of AI.
Okay.
And so to prepare for this panel, I asked Google Gemini, hey, think about some branded partnerships that Sour Patch could do and that Chips Ahoy could do. And I asked them the first time, and they gave me some generic answers, and I'll share those with you. And then I was like, okay, but like, think a little bit more outside the box, which is really interesting when you ask AI to do that. And so I want you to give me your reaction, like, great idea, all the way to ew, of what AI thinks you should do. And by the way, some of these things you're already doing, so fair enough. So when I asked AI about Sour Patch Kids, first thing they said was yogurt.
Oh, where are my Danone friends?
Yep. There's a lot of dairy, right?
You've talked about that.
Popcorn, which you already talked about. Ice cream.
We did do ice pops. We did do ice pops, and we did a little ice cream. Yeah. So, as I said, we are a very conservative company. When you freeze Sour Patch Kids, they break your teeth.
Oh.
So
no. Okay, got it. So don't break your teeth. That's so the third option. It's you, yay, and don't break your teeth.
When I say we like have to run every scenario, we literally run every scenario.
Okay, a couple more. Donuts was the last kind of, before I was like, okay, try harder.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely, so we manage the retail licensing side, but we actually have a whole food service team that does a lot of our food service relationships and licensing there. Just like with the Cheesecake Factory, Oreo is, I think, I don't want to talk out of turn, but I think it's like their number 1 or 2 cheesecake besides plain. And so we have a great partnership with Krispy Kreme. We have crazy donuts for the Eclipse. They did a Oreo donut. They're like where they took it apart. So the Eclipse had like the little sliver. So it had a little sliver of cream, and it was right on top. So yes, spot on.
Love it. Yeah, I think some of these are areas you've explored, and I'm just going to make eye contact with you because you tell me every time.
Yeah, definitely.
The last 4, when I was like, okay, think outside the box, were trail mix, cereal, creamer, and cream cheese, to your cheesecake point.
Oh, so we just actually did a small pop-up bagel in New York City. We just did a quick little collab with them on the Oreo side for Oreo cream cheese, but we're looking for a cream cheese permanent partner if anybody knows any. Yes, I mean, a lot of these categories we're totally open to exploring, and I think that's the fun thing about licensing. We never say no, we always explore it, and we kind of see how the category is going or where the market is going, and we're always willing to potentially try something new.
Okay, y'all want to know what AI said about Chips Ahoy? Oh yeah, I'm getting some nods. Okay, so the first round was super vanilla, right? Like it was milkshakes and ice cream and pancakes and cheesecakes, and I was like, okay, try harder. And the ideas were, hold please, Chips Ahoy hummus.
Whoa.
I heard a gag. Salad crumbles and using it to batter chicken, like for fried chicken. I know, everybody had a more favorable reaction to that. I know, you're like writing
that one. I feel like our social teams could definitely try.
That would go viral.
It'll be on TikTok tomorrow.
I know. I feel like the Chips Ahoy hummus. I mean, chocolate hummus is.
I mean, Ithaca hummus does some crazy flavors, so maybe we could do something with it.
Non-food, it said Bath and Body Works, Crayola. It suggested golden cookie yellow and chocolate chip brown. And Funko Pops with the little chip with the little.
So we do have a couple Funko Pops in our other brands.
Love it.
Chips Ahoy has not had one yet, but we will let them know.
Okay. It's AI said so. I think that's the reason.
AI said so.
Perfect. Okay, and so when we talk about where to license, how do you decide what categories and who the right partners are for a licensing endeavor?
Yeah. So I think as I mentioned before, what categories is sort of like less of a science and more of an art. I mean, everybody talked about data-driven decisions, and we have a portion of that, but a lot of it is kind of gut with where our brands already are. So we have a lot of low-hanging fruit first. If you look on social, if you look on, what people are doing in food service, we take a lot of cues from food service. So, is there a Oreo hot chocolate at Dunkin' Donuts? Like, do we look at the hot chocolate category then? Like a lot of it is sort of almost self-fulfilling because people are using Oreos and Chips Ahoys in so many different ways that we can kind of watch what's happening in the market. I would say about 50% of our partnerships come in, people approach us and they're like, hey, we have this idea, and we take a look at it. And then I'd say like 50% of them, we go after the category that we've strategically identified as something we want to be in. In terms of what type of, who we actually partner in those certain categories, we're a big company, so we find ourselves often partnering with other big companies. I think a lot of that has to do with, we do have financial thresholds that our partners have to meet, and we have a really rigorous food safety quality standard policy, and we require a lot of testing and a lot of audits and things like that a lot of smaller companies aren't necessarily comfortable with. So we do find ourselves partnering with fairly big food companies. But on the non-food side, we're willing to sort of totally checking it out. We actually just partnered with a really small board game company called Hootenanny Games. They just released a Sour Patch Kids game. It was just nominated for a Taggy, which I did not know what that was until yesterday. It is the Oscars of the toy industry. So I think the voting opens October 18th for the top new licensed board game, so I'll need all of your support to get us in there. But it is already on Amazon and Walmart, and so it's a great holiday gift for anybody who loves Sour Patch Kids. But it's a space like you wouldn't think we would go into, and it's a very small husband and wife company, and they approached us with this great idea, and we thought, you know what, why not? And so we took a chance.
It's play.
That's right.
It's fun.
Yeah.
So you decide what categories, you identify the right partners. Any other examples of both success stories or B, times when either you were gonna go down a road and you decided not to, or less than successful, like partnership learnings?
Yes. I'll start with success. I think, so our Frenary ice cream partner, I think we think that has been a really great relationship for Oreo. When the licensing department was run out of just the finance brand, the finance arm of our company, we had a co-branded ice cream in the market, and it was doing okay, but it wasn't, lighting the world on fire. And I think when the team came together, it was sort of like, we think we can do more with this business. We saw, cookies and cream, it's like the third or fourth biggest ice cream flavor in the market, and we were like, well, we're the original cookies and cream, we should be out there with our own brand new ice cream. And so we RFP'd the business. We talked to a lot of different partners. Some partners were willing to what we call mono brand, which means like it's fully branded with our branding on it. It doesn't have an endorser brand on it. Other companies wanted to endorse brand on it, but we were very passionate about, we believe we can carry our own ice cream brand. And so it launched about 2 years ago. It's doing amazing. It's bigger than Halo Top right now. We have our sights set to enter the top 10 category. The ice cream sandwich, so our 3-inch wafer with ice cream, it's the #1 ice cream sandwich in the ice cream market. So we really, it was a big risk to move away from a partner that we've had for a long time, but we really believed in what the brand could do, and we're really excited to see it grow. And then for failure, I think we have a story that goes around the building. It predates me, but apparently, it is a no-no, we found out, to partner with any alcohol brands because we're a very family-friendly company. And apparently there was a wine and Oreo partnership that someone in the executive level saw on a Saturday night come through their social media. And we have learned we cannot partner with any alcohol brands.
It sounds like a fun learning. The Oreo.
But we do get approached for like an Oreo stout all the time because it makes so much sense, like Bailey's and Oreo and stuff like that. But unfortunately, it's not a category we can play in.
The Oreo ice cream sandwiches are my 7-year-old son's favorite.
Do you like mint? Are you a mint family? Yeah. Because we just released mint ones a couple months ago, and they're equally as good.
It's on my list. I love it. Okay, how are we doing on time? Do I have time for one more question? Okay, I've been given the one question. So how do you balance maintaining brand control with allowing partners the creative freedom to take your brand where they want it to go?
Yeah, I'd say that's difficult for us. I feel like our partners would probably say that we're a little more protective of our brands than they want us to be. We're like little helicopter moms, like, hey, we need to see that. By the way, we saw you post that on social, we need to see it. So we can be annoying, admittedly, but I think we're very upfront about that. All of our big brands go through our big partners go through a full brand immersion. You sit with the brand teams, you sit with us, you sit with our agencies if it's appropriate. We fully want to immerse you in the brand because we do realize you're taking, our brands into the market, and we care so much for them. We're very involved in the briefing process, like everybody was talking about, like keeping the brief tight. If we know what you want to do up front and how you want to do it, we feel more comfortable so that when we can review the work, we know, like, oh, is this what we all agreed upon that we were going to do? We do also recognize that sometimes we're not experts in that category, like going back to the Ghost example. We don't really know what works in the energy drink space. It's very irreverent, it's very bold and not something we're used to. So again, it's like having that trust in that partner that we think that they will care for our brands like we would. So a lot of back and forth, a lot of review time. We're historically slow. Not making us sound too good, but we're really protective. I mean, that's the truth. We're very protective of our brands. But
when I asked you if you could wave your magic wand and remove friction from one portion of the licensing process, what would it be? Do you remember what you said?
I said the multi-level approval in a consensus-driven organization.
Yeah, that's the magic wand solution there. I love it. All right, well, I think we are out of time. Scott's nodding. All right, well, thank you so much for sharing the insights today. It's such a fun topic. Thanks, everyone.